So, instructions are over. I welcome you to the fifth round of FFA Day on KSMO Radio. I have four upperclassmen with me, 11th or 12th graders. That covers these folks up. And so I'm going to ask them first of all, and it doesn't matter who goes first. I was going to tell you that. Whoever wants to go first, just introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself. So our listening and viewing audience, since for the first time, not the first time today, but the first time on FFA Day on KSMO Media, we are also out on the World Wide Web as well. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, I believe the story. All right, introduce yourselves. Who wants to go first? Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll go first. Well, my name's Hannah Easter. I'm in 11th grade, and I go to Salem High School, and my parents are Sheena, and my dad's Joe Easter. Everybody probably knows who that is, but yeah.
Okay, good.
Hey, I'm William Shepard. I go to school in Salem High, 11th grade, and my dad is Dustin Shepard, and my mom is Victoria Shepard.
My name's Clayton Hedrick. I go to Salem High School. I'm in 11th grade, and my mom's Sandra Hedrick, and dad's Nathan Hedrick.
My name is Eli Newman. I'm in 12th grade. I go to Salem High School, and my parents' names are Tanya and Larry Newman.
Okay, so Eli, you're the only senior we've got. The rest of this group is juniors? Wow, okay. That'll all work out. All right, first question after that one, of course, is to ask you, why did you decide to enroll in ag education? What prompted you to enroll in ag ed? Anybody, whoever wants to go first can. You don't have to go in a certain order, just whomever. Sometimes it's easier to be the first person to answer because then you don't sound like you're repeating somebody else's answer. So who's first?
The reason why I joined FFA was because my dad joined FFA. He first told me about it, and I was a little bit interested. And I had a couple of buddies that was going in FFA with me, so I was like, let's give something new to try. And I've been in FFA ever since.
Okay, very good. That was Will. Who's next?
No, I guess you could say same thing. All my family's been in ag, so it was something that interested me. So
We find that a lot during the day is there's a lot of family history involvement with the ag education FFA program. Not always, because we get lots of students come into the program that are not FFA members. Our program director just checking things out for us there. Okay, making sure and you guys might need to be just a tad closer to that mic maybe. Okay, somebody else about why you decided to enroll in ag education.
Well, I decided, my dad in high school, he showed like steers and heifers and stuff, and I skipped out my freshman year I don't really know why, I just didn't really know, maybe I didn't know much about it. But then my sophomore year, I'm like, oh, there's kids in my grade, then it looked pretty fun, like FFA and stuff. I'm like, that sounds fun. So then I got into it and got more involved, and Miss J, and it was Howard then. It just really got me interested, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should show. So last year was my first year showing, and I did hogs. It's just been fun ever since.
So a little bit of family influence, and then also influenced by your peers, sounded like, as you saw other students, their involvement in FFA. All right, we're down to Eli answering that question.
Well, I've been in ag for 4 years now, and I'd seen that it was on the paper, and I was like, it looks pretty fun.
Why not?
I mean, now I haven't left.
Yeah,
I've been
right,
there.
sir. You've stayed with it all the way
I got 4
through.
classes this year.
4, my goodness. So we're going to ask you about that momentarily as well as about your involvement in the classes. In fact, that would be just as good a time as any. Eli, you kicked it off there. Tell us about the classes you are in this year.
My 4th hour class is Fish and Wildlife, which you taught last semester. And my other classes are Ag Construction, Ag Structures, and Vet Science.
Okay. Pretty heavy load, sounds like. Yeah. That taxed you. Okay. Who else? About the classes you had?
Like, are you asking all classes that we've been in
Yeah.
throughout all 4 years? Yeah. First started out in Ag 1, then Ag 2 for my sophomore year. But when I was sophomore, I was in Vet Science. And that was not really a sophomore class. So I guess that was a counselor's mistake, but I've learned a lot. and now this year I'm in ag construction. And this year I actually was able to learn how to weld and weld properly.
There's a difference in there.
Yes, sir, there is.
They just welding and welding.
That works.
Yeah, my mic kind of give out on me there, didn't it? Didn't even see that happen. Okay, well, Hannah, I guess, to answer
Yep.
the question.
My sophomore year, I took Ag 1. That was pretty much, I was kind of with all the freshmen. And then this year, I'm in Ag 2. I'm like, Lori Terrell's in there. She's a senior, but I'm like one of the only juniors in there. And then I'm in Ag construction this year, too.
So a variety of. Got yours yet?
I don't think so.
No, I haven't. Go, Braden. Clayton. Hedrick.
Yep.
I apologize. I've done that before. I'll do it again, I'm sure. At least I haven't called you Nathan yet.
Oh, you probably will.
That's a possibility.
So this year I'm in ag construction and ag structures. Enjoy both of them a lot. Freshman year, I took ag 1. Sophomore year, I took ag 2. I don't know if there was another class I took last year, but yeah, I enjoy them.
All right, let's turn our attention to talking about your favorite ag/FFA activity you've been involved in. What's been your favorite and why?
I like the labor auction. I don't know, that's just one thing that stood out. I mean, I also like the barn warming dance, but the auction's always fun. It feels like, oh, I'm getting sold, but it's fun.
And I think that's not far off.
No,
is
I
it?
think it's next Friday.
That's right. That's according to information I have as well. And this is the first group that's mentioned that fact that we've got that FFA alumni labor auction coming up a week from tonight. I believe that's at the middle school.
They usually have it at the Smith Valley.
Okay, that's right. They've moved it to Smith Valley last year, I believe was the first time. You're right. Thank you for correcting me. I
You're
do
welcome.
appreciate it, really. Okay, what else have we had in terms of favorite activities?
Mine would have to be trap shooting and the auctions.
Okay.
Really.
And the FFA does some trap shooting. I know Clayton may tell you more about that since I know he's been heavily involved in that. But we'll go to Eli or Clayton, either one. That's your favorite activity that you've been involved in.
Well, this year I got the opportunity to go to the National FFA convention in Indianapolis, which is really fun. Good opportunity. And yeah, trap. I'm pretty into it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you've made it to lots of trap shoots.
Yeah.
Started out in 4-H, very heavily involved in the trap shooting in 4-H. Clayton was, and now is carrying that over into his FFA involvement as well. So, all right, anything else?
I haven't been anywhere this year.
Eli
I'll be
just
honest with you.
Eli just comes to class and does his thing in class, and of course, I know he's heavily involved in sports, so that's kind of sometimes it's pretty difficult to be heavily involved in both areas. You have to make decisions about what you're going to be involved in. So that's some of the activities these guys have been involved in. What about some other activities? Now that was just a favorite, but what else comes to mind when you say, well, what are some of the FFA activities that the Salem FFA chapter carries on?
Like contest teams.
Okay? We're going to deal with that, but now's as good a time as any. Career development events. We used to call them contest teams strictly. We still do a lot of the time because it's just a little, I don't know. It's a term that seems to fit a little better than career development events. Now you can say CDEs, obviously, or LDEs, which has come about in the last decade, the leadership development events to specify leadership activities separate from the ag contest themselves. Talk to us a little bit about CDEs, contest teams you've done, and what you have in the future. I know, again, particularly juniors only had a chance to do contest teams your freshman year, right?
I thought it would be our sophomore
It was
year.
a sophomore year, because freshman years, when COVID got
Yeah.
started, and you guys just didn't get any opportunity to do that in your freshman year. Okay, so what contest teams were you involved in? Have you been involved in to date?
I was involved with a horse judging team my sophomore year, and then this year I decided to do the meat judging team.
Okay.
And just to do something a little bit different.
Sure, a lot of difference there. And both excellent competitions. Horse team, now let's see, was that the horse team that went to state? Were you on that team, or was that the next year? That's the next year's horse team that you were on, wasn't it? Okay. Somebody else?
No, I'm
Nope.
not a part of that.
No contest teams,
Nope.
no contest teams.
Well, freshman year we got to sign up for it. I was in livestock judging. Last year I was in livestock judging. This year I'm in livestock judging.
So we have something going on this year,
Yeah,
and maybe third time's a charm. Might get it done this time.
hopefully.
Yeah. That's a very competitive contest team area. Livestock judging is probably as competitive as there is. Lots of people with that animal interest in livestock, in particular, in evaluating cattle, sheep, hogs, and I think you also do some goats now. It's become, it's always been a very competitive contest. So that kind of deals with the contest teams, what we've been doing there. Anybody else got one plan for this year that you're going to be involved in? I know we got meats and livestock. Okay. That was, check off the contest teams. Let's talk about challenges that FFA, Ag Education, have presented you. What have you found to be the most challenging, the most difficult part of Ag Education and FFA?
Record books. Seriously, they're just, some parts are like really easy to fill out, but others it's just like, oh my goodness, like it's a lot of work. It really is.
It is. You guys are fortunate from the standpoint of now you do it electronically on your Chromebooks.
Yeah.
There's pluses and minuses to that. I'm not sure yet you really see the whole record process as it flows through all the forms, but it does give you an opportunity to do them more accurately
Yeah, that's true.
if you get the information into the record book.
Yeah, that's the thing, getting the information into the record book, because a lot of us don't write it down at the when we do it.
I guess the internet's better too because like it usually tells you if there's an error at the bottom. So I mean if you're doing it right. And that's the bad part too. Like a lot of times everybody has to go through and there are like so many errors and you have to fix them to where it says okay.
Will hit on a really good point though, and that is you need to learn to do them in a timely manner. When you put them off to do them the day before they're due into your teacher for grading, are you going to be accurate and have everything there you need? Probably not.
No.
We'll come back to talking about difficult things in ag education, but we need to take a short break of about a minute and a half or so.
With tax season fast approaching, you might have some questions that you need answered. If so, give the Tax Masters a call. They have over 40 years of experience and can handle all types of accounting services plus certified e-filing. Don't ever let yourself be a slave to the IRS. Come and see Jackie or Beth at Tax Masters located at 107 West 4th Street here in Salem, or call 729-3001.
Terrell Complete Auto Care is a full-service auto repair center in Salem. They offer full-service oil changes as well as $2 discounts on Tuesdays for all ladies, and Wednesday is Senior Citizen Day. Plus, Terrell Complete Auto Care can take care of all your auto and diesel repair needs. They offer free pickup and delivery in town. James and Sheena and the staff of Terrell Complete Auto Care are proud to support the Salem Tigers.
This is Mike Elliott from Town & Country Insurance. As an independent agent, we shop many different companies, allowing us to find the best value for our clients. Town & Country Insurance has been serving South Central Missouri since 1963. We have offices in Salem, Rolla, Licking, and Mountain Grove, and would welcome an opportunity to show you what we can do for you. Stop by 400 West Scenic Rivers Boulevard, located inside the Town & Country Bank, or you can call our office at 729-6624.
Let's see what we can show these hogs.
Weigh-in's March 26th.
All right, we're back with our fifth group this afternoon of Ag Ed students and FFA members from Salem High School. We were talking about difficulties, most challenging thing you've found in FFA, and we're talking about the record books. Have all of you, would you be in agreement that that's probably the most difficult thing for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not necessarily from the standpoint of being difficult to do, it's learning to make sure we get them done in a timely manner. All right, I'm sure that's not the only thing you've found to be a challenge. What else have you found to be challenges or difficult situations in Ag and FFA? Anything else?
There probably is, but I can't think of
Oh,
it.
yeah, there is. Think back about Ag 1.
The creed.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, trying to remember all 5 paragraphs. Oof. It's like, I thought I'd never get it done.
And I bet you, Will, you had a hard time because I bet your dad was on your case about not getting it done.
I'm not
Was
sure
he
I
or not?
did.
Well, actually, my freshman year was kind of
Okay.
was a little bit
Weird.
bouncing.
year.
Yeah, weird year for me because I actually started in Rolla FFA, and then when certain things happened, I moved in with my dad and became a student in the Salem FFA chapter.
A little different situation, but the creed is always a tough call for everybody. Nobody, I don't remember. That's too many numbers, 5 fingers, too many numbers for to count the number of kids that really enjoyed doing the creed. In my 40 years that I did it, probably 3 or 4 that really enjoyed that. Now I had 1 or 2 actually this last fall that did enjoy it in that Ag 1 group that I had the fortunate pleasure to be involved with. So there's always a few kids enjoy it. And then in Ag 2, you move up and you get to do a 6-minute speech. So it just keeps building. You just keep having to learn to get up and communicate. And then what do? We drag you to the radio station to be on the air and on YouTube so people can see your face along with hear your voice. It's just awesome what we do to you in Ag education.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Being very facetious, isn't it? All right, let's talk about your supervised agriculture experiences. What do you, I don't think we've dealt with that in much detail. What do you have for your SAEs?
Sheep,
Okay, 2 or 3, 72?
actually.
It doesn't.
Oh, I wish it was that number, but no. Hang on, I have to do a little counting on my fingers because I can't remember off the top of
You
my
can get
head.
in the ballpark. You don't have to be exact.
Oh, a little less than 10 head.
Okay.
But me and my twin brother started this together,
I see.
and we we first bought our sheep to start up this from our grandparents. Then we're starting to build it from there.
I got you. Okay, very good. Somebody else.
My SAE is my show steer. So,
You also do some farm work, right?
somewhat.
His last name is Hedrick, and so yes, yeah.
Always farming.
Between Dad and Uncle David and the rest of the family, I know you do lots of farm work, lots of it. What about the other 2 of you?
Oh, well, mine's my market hogs, and then I did have mine when I worked at Sonic. I had that on there, but let's just stick to the hogs.
Okay.
You might be surprised about this, but I do not have one at the moment.
At the moment, I am shocked. I am shocked beyond belief.
So, Eli, you mean to tell me you have not had an SAE
So
since
at the moment.
At the moment.
Oh.
Didn't say he hasn't. He said at the moment. So we won't talk about the rest of it there. So let's go over and talk about future plans. Let's bring that up as your next topic. We've taken our first break. I want to pay attention to my time. Where we're at, we're in good shape. We've got probably about another 15 minutes. I don't know whether you all can talk that long. I hope you can. What do you got planned for the future? Yet in high school and ag education and FFA. Let's start there. And I grant you, Eli just has a few months left, so his only plans may be to just make it to the end.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be nice.
What are your future plans?
Well, you want to go ahead? I can go ahead. Okay. So I'm wanting to do something in ag. Like, I just love ag, love being involved in it. I want to go to Lynn Tech, and do something with the ag business maybe. But then I'm like, maybe something with animals. So maybe like vet but like bigger animals, like horses and cows. So
There's a lot of demand for folks in the large animal vet area because so many vets are moving to just doing the smaller animals. That's
Yep.
where the big money is. Let's face it, if a dog kicks you,
it ain't bad, but if a cow kicks you, it's a different story. So
that
it's
couldn't be.
can be dangerous.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's your kind of your career goal now is something agribusiness or with maybe as a vet assistant.
Yep.
There are programs that for vet assistance into education. So, okay, good plan. Hannah, what else, guys?
Well, my future job and whatnot is to either go to the military or Lynn Tech and become either a heavy equipment operator or heavy equipment mechanic. I don't know, just spending them times in the hayfields with Dad and Grandpa working on them tractors and running them just gave me an interest, I guess.
You like that kind of work. Well, State Tech is excellent, has excellent programs, and I know over the last few years, hearing more and more students that's their goal to make it to State Tech in one of the many great areas that they offer there. All right, going on. Future goals.
First, I'd like to finish high school. I don't know if it's possible or not, but
It's
I-
awesome.
It's a possibility.
it's a possibility.
I think you will.
But I really haven't thought much through after high school. I mean, I'd probably attend some sort of trade school. I don't know, probably be a lineman or go something in like HVAC or something. I don't know yet.
Okay. Lots of areas to choose from, that's for sure. And as I said in one of the earlier sessions, today, the skills areas, education, the ones you guys have mentioned, are much more in demand than they would have been 10 or 15 years ago. We were still, probably 15 years ago, we were just getting kind of the end of that everybody's got to go to college mentality. And we finally got away from that, and we realized we got to have people that can work, that can do the hands-on skills things like you all have really described. So that's kind of what the future plans are among this group of students. Let's move to talking about, and this is a little more difficult question, but it's a very individual, personalized answer that should come out of this. How has ag education and FFA benefited you? What are the benefits that you feel like that you have gained by being involved in ag education and FFA?
I don't know. I mean, it really taught me responsibility
Yeah.
and leadership a lot.
Hard worker.
Yeah.
I'm a hard worker. Most people in ag aren't lazy, They have responsibilities to do.
Good points. Yeah.
Help.
Being responsible, not avoiding work.
Helps you open up to people, and like they said, maybe you go to work for somebody, you'll be able to have the communication skills.
Improve those communication skills. Those, even though sometimes you don't think you've realized those benefits as an individual, you get down the road a little ways in your life and you look back and say, really, doing that creed that was hard, or at least getting done as much of it as I got done, I can see how that benefited me in kind of getting me out of my shell to talk in front of people and not be quite as shy, being a little more confident. All right, anything else in terms of how you think it's benefited you?
I mean, it's benefited in a lot of ways. I mean, one way, I know what I want to do when I get out of high school now because of it. I had no clue. I wanted to be a teacher, and now I'm like, ag's really fun. I really want to stay involved in it.
And kind of to add to that just a little bit, and I want you guys to talk. Sometimes I do too much of the talking, but one of the students in the last class thought their career goal was to be an ag, and they actually through ag education FFA figured out that their career goal is to move into elementary education. So helping you see different career paths that are available to you is a benefit as well. Just like developing the other skills that we've talked about, whether it be, and even though you might despise the record keeping, you're more skillful at it than you were when you started as freshmen. And I hope you can also more clearly see the benefits of it to your future, because you're going to have to keep records. There's just no getting around it. We're in tax season.
Yeah.
And you got to have some records. And if you're going to be involved in agriculture, going to have some farming in part of your career, you've got to have those records, and you got to file those taxes, et cetera, et cetera.
Lots of responsibilities.
Absolutely. All right. I know I'm looking at my list of questions, and I think I know we dealt with that one. That one. I think we're down to where I usually to get to our end, and we're a little earlier than I thought we'd be, but that's okay.
We can
You
ask
guys
you
have done it.
questions.
Hmm?
We can ask you questions.
Nobody has asked that yet, and I just heard a chuckle off in the other room. So, all right, we'll give you that, and I'll
Okay.
I'll keep that one. All right,
I got a
what's the question?
What got you into ag?
Well, I was raised on a farm to begin with. All my high school years, I knew I was going to go to college, and I was going to major in agriculture. I was the first one to attend college in my family, on either side of my family. So I knew I was going to college. I had two younger brothers. Our farming operation was not as big enough to support another family. And with two younger brothers, and there was 4 years and then 7 years, and particularly my youngest brother, I knew was going to stay on the farm. So I knew I was going to college. Went to college 2 years, and y'all talk about not really having the direction of where you're going to go with your education. I was just in what's called general ag for 2 years, but I got acquainted with a group of young men that were majoring in ag education. And they said, Bob, with your interest and your love for people, you ought to consider ag education. At that time, we called it vocational agriculture, but that's really back in the day. We're talking about 54 years ago. And so I got involved and interested in vocational agriculture, which we changed the terminology to agriculture education. And I had to go to college additional semester because of changing my major. And that additional semester turned out to be kind of a blessing in disguise. During my last full year at the University of Missouri, there was a gentleman there that was teaching one of the classes to fill in with another professor, and his name was B. Oscar Brown. And he was from Salem and was the ag teacher here and had taken a year off to substitute for a college professor. So B. Oscar and I got acquainted, and then by having to go that extra semester, middle of the year, the job opening became available for the second teacher here at Salem. So February 1 of 1971, I started teaching agriculture education at Salem High School until I retired June 30th of 2011. So that's the story. I've always been involved in agriculture. And I loved operating machinery and equipment, like you said, plowing the ground, tilling the crops, all that kind of stuff, harvesting hay. Loved that. I didn't own a farm till 4 years ago, in partnership with my brothers in North Missouri. People ask me quite often, why don't you have a farm? I said, I'm raising a crop. It's a 4-year crop. It's not a 1-year crop. It's those students that come in as freshmen, and I have to work with them. I need to work with them to help them develop the various skills and abilities we've even talked about today.
Yep.
Self-confidence, responsibility, not being allergic to work, all those kinds of things. And that's I guess is the full answer, more probably than what you were really asking for, but that's the full answer to your question.
I also too have a question. What made you decide to be a teacher instead of another job in ag?
Well, it really did a good job of combining my two interests, agriculture and people. I said in high school that those were the two things that occupied my interest. So I just stayed with one once I learned more about ag education, I said, here it is. Work with young people in particular, which I enjoy working with kids, to be honest, more so than adults. And I did some adult work during some of my high school years of education, but I don't know. I was able to affect more change in taking a freshman and seeing them all the way through 4 years, and seeing them develop than working with adults. Now, generally with adults, what you would see more of is changes in their operation, not the individual person. We might figure out things that they could do to make their operation more efficient, just the dollars and cents of it and how it actually worked. But with high school students, I actually see you grow and change, mature, all those kinds of things. So you got to ask your questions. Anything else?
No, I think you
Okay.
did a good old job.
Well, thank you very much. Anything else you'd add before we close this group out? We've been a good group. I know at least one of you were very reluctant to come along. One of you got a big surprise that you were coming. So
It's okay.
It's been an interesting time, and you guys have done an excellent job. I really appreciate the job you've done. Thank you for being part of FFA Day and KSMO. We would also express our thanks to the many, many sponsors that made this day possible. With that said, I'm going to send you back. I don't know who's on the board to start up our first break, but hey, it's Stan the man. Stan, it's yours.
When I meet a new loan customer, I try to drop everything that I was working on prior to them coming in my office and focus directly on what their needs are at the time, whether it be a new car, their first house. I focus directly on what they are telling me and what they are needing. And it doesn't matter if it's a small $1,000 loan or a $200,000 house. I try to treat every client the same.
With all the options in car loans, you almost need navigation to see you through. At our credit union, let us steer you through and get a great rate. You're on the right road because we're member-owned and not-for-profit. We belong to you. Riverways Federal Credit Union. Positively different. Online at riverwaysfcu.org. We're federally insured by NCUA. We're an equal housing lender.
We belong to you.
Sorry, Dad.
Sure, you could get him a new car. You could also light a pile of money on fire. Because as long as Mr. It wasn't my fault takes the wheel on occasion, maintaining this car is your best option. So keep it running longer, stronger, with quality parts and a whole lot of Napa know-how.
Dad, where are you going?